Yo, what's up, everybody? This your boy back at y'all with another one. Shouts out to the whole LDBC Lions Den basketball community. Get the video a like and subscribe. Ring the bell whenever I go live. That way you get those notifications. Also, subscribe to the Patreon. Leave a link to the Patreon when the stream is over with. Let's get right to the funk. So, there's a reason why Donald Trump is going through hell and high water to maintain his seat as president of the United States. And, shout out to my boy Too Raw for TV because he talked about this a while back. I think he talked about this on his Patreon. He might have talked about this on his main channel, but either way, he did talk about this, right? As Donald Trump is fighting tooth and nail to keep his seat as president because should he lose this election, and all signs point that he will lose this election, he has a whole list of legal troubles that's going to resurface, right? So this article here is coming from Business Insider. Okay, now the biggest entity is going to go after Donald Trump is the New York the lawyers out there, the attorneys for the Southern District of New York. What up, William Burr? Salute to my boy William Burr in the building. Appreciate you for being here top of the morning, right? So they say Trump can face criminal and civil investigations at the federal and state level for many years to come now that he's lost the White House, and soon his presidential immunity from prosecution that he's enjoyed in the process as well. So if he ain't president, he can't be immune from charges. So let the games begin. Now, New York State officials can prove to be Trump's biggest and longest lasting headache, given that multiple investigations are already well underway. And he was also being investigated for using the White House during the election as for his campaign for campaigning purposes, and his chief of staff Mark Meadows, right? The hits just keep on coming for this group of thugs and criminals and fucking crooks. So Mark Meadows, who also tested positive for the coronavirus, is also being investigated for violating the Hatch Act. Now, basically, in a nutshell, what the Hatch Act is, the only people that can give out endorsements is the president. He's the only one that can give out endorsements. No lackey of his can give out any kind of endorsements of any candidate or anything like that. Okay? That's basically what the Hatch Act is. Or the other person that can give endorsements and things like that is the vice president. So the president and vice president can give out endorsements, nobody else. Okay? Now, it would be safe to say that the Trump campaign and his joint fundraiser committees will be dealing with criminal and FEC investigations for years to come. So basically, the FEC, that's the that stands for the Federal Exchange Commission. I take that back. The Federal Election Commission. That's what it stands for. The Federal Election Commission. Beyond the 4 years Trump would have served had he been reelected, because if Trump had been reelected, then that violation would have ran its course, and he wouldn't have gotten prosecuted for it, or they couldn't go after him for it. Okay. Now Joe Biden has been pretty much mum onto whether or not he would pursue federal charges against Trump using the evidence detailed in the Mueller report, but we'll just have to see how this plays out. Okay. And the reason why that is because this will set a dangerous precedent. Should a president get charged with any kind of crime, or should a president, or if a president should face prosecution, Joe Biden will be setting a dangerous precedent to where a sitting president can go after a former president for whatever crime he alleged he did or whatever like that. This is the trouble when you let a fucking ass clown like Donald Trump enter the White House. But anyway, let's continue on. It said Donald Trump could face a wave of legal challenges now that he lost the 2020 election and will soon lose the presidential immunity he's enjoyed for the past 4 years. Trouble likely awaits him from multiple places: federal and state level investigations, criminal and civil inquiries, and matters involving his businesses, political operations, and tenure as president. Now, Trump could take the most dramatic step there is to avoid legal peril. He could try to pardon himself, or he could resign during the lame duck period and order his replacement, Mike Pence, to preemptively pardon him. Now, these are two scenarios that are very likely to happen, right? Shout out to Back to the Basics for being in the chat room this morning. Good morning to you. But yeah, I can see that happening. You can see a scenario with Donald Trump pardoning himself and or leaving the White House during this so-called lame duck period and getting Mike Pence to pardon him. But either way, you know, I tell you, man, here only in America, man, I tell you. Now, there's a precedent for such a move. Now, Gerald Ford sparked controversy in 1974 when he pardoned Richard Nixon, because remember, Richard Nixon was involved in that whole, what was that thing? Watergate. When he was involved in Watergate, you had Gerald Ford basically pardon Richard Nixon. Right? And we all know how Watergate started. Basically, you had a whole bunch of operatives break into the DNC server at the Watergate Hotel. And that's how Watergate came about. And by the way, Watergate Hotel out DC is a national landmark. I don't know how you have a national landmark for one of the biggest scandals in United States history, but whatever, right? But such gambits wouldn't inoculate Trump and his closest allies from fines and even jail time from any state level challenges where a presidential pardon has no effect. So even Trump have a monument in DC, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so just because he got pardoned on the national level, on the state level though, they can still go after him, right? So New York can be like, the hell with your pardon, we're still coming after your ass. Now, former state and justice, federal election committee officials, as well as other legal scholars, told the Insider that Trump's post-presidential legal issues could last years. So, yeah, all that money that he got illegally, yeah, that money is about to go down the toilet from lawyers to more lawyers and more lawyers. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to the underrated darkness in the building. Now, if so, Trump's personal troubles could follow a parade of legal scandals and in some cases prison time involving former political and personal associates, including his former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, White House advisor Steve Bannon, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, his deputy campaign chairman Rick Gates, his advisor Roger Stone, his lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen, and GOP fundraiser Elliot Brody. And let's not forget, the country of Iran is looking for him too. So they don't care in Iran that he has he got immunity here in the United States. That does not apply in the country of Iran. It does not apply in the country of Iran. And you got to believe that those people out in Iran are licking their chops from when this dude leaves office, because they're going to go after him. They're going to go after him for killing the Iranian general back in January. Now, remember, he did that whole plot without going through the Gang of Eight, talk about it was an imminent threat, and all that was designed to deflect and distract people from his impeachment proceedings that was going on. Because remember, he was getting impeached for the allegation of basically withholding money to the Ukraine so they can fight off the Russian invasion. He basically tried to do a quid pro quo to get dirt on Joe Biden. And my thing is this: if you wanted dirt on Joe Biden, why would you even have to go through another country to do it? You got basically the Department of Justice at your disposal, right? So if you got the Department of Justice at your disposal, why don't you use them to do an investigation or whatever like that? But hey, that's goes to show you the incompetence of this guy. Now, here are some notable legal battles Trump can find himself fighting for a long time now that voters have elected Joe Biden to the White House and sent the 45th president of the United States back to civilian life. Now, New York officials, here's the thing about presidential pardons, right? Once I said before, wouldn't you like to know what's up? Salute to you, homie. This is the thing about presidential pardons. They only apply at the federal level. The state of New York can look at that federal pardon and tell them, yeah, you can take that shit and stick it up your ass. We don't give a fuck. That's what they basically can say, right? Now, this puts the New York Attorney General Letitia James fraud investigations into hyperdrive. Now, Letitia James, she's investigating whether the Trump organization illegally inflated the value of his assets in a bid to score tax breaks. Now, Eric Trump, the president's son, in October answered questions under oath as part of that investigation, which is a civil, not criminal case. Now, James' predecessor, Barbara Underwood, also scored a victory in 2018 against the Trump Foundation, which agreed to dissolve amid accusation that it was functioning a little more than a checkbook to serve Trump's business and political interests. Now, Trump was ordered to pay $2 million in damages and to spread the foundation's $1.78 million in remaining assets among several charities, including the Holocaust Museum, the United Negro College Fund, and the United Way of National Capital Arena. See, when Trump made that allegation about how he donated to the black colleges and all that, this is how. So that whole claim that, oh, well, you know, I donated my money to the black colleges and to the HBCUs and all that, that was misleading. Because this is why he and the United Negro College Fund and all that, that was all misleading. Because this is why he donated his money to the United Negro College Fund and all that, is because of this. Meanwhile, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance appears to be investigating whether Trump and the Trump Organization engaged in bank and insurance fraud. A grand jury has subpoenaed Trump for 8 years worth of his personal and business tax returns. This is part of the reason why this dude has been fighting tooth and nail to not release his tax returns. Now, all the other presidents has given their tax returns. Look, for as bad as I don't like Kamala Harris and for as bad as I hate Joe Biden just as much, right? They already released their tax returns. This fucking Bama for 8 years, and let's just go back for the year or so before he became president, how he promised he was going to release his tax returns and this thing and the next thing, and he never did it. Never did it. If anything, he's fought tooth and nail to stall the process. So that tell you right there, if a motherfucker have to fight tooth and nail to stall the process, this motherfucker hiding something, man. Shout out to Buck Skull Gang in the house, and wouldn't you like to know? Now, Trump has fought the subpoena all the way to the Supreme Court, where he lost in the 7-2 ruling in July. Now, Judge Victor Marrero of the Southern District of New York most recently rejected the president's argument. And basically, what Trump tried to say was, well, since I'm the president of the United States, I can't be investigated, and I can't be investigated, and I can't have nothing go against me while I'm president. And the judge was like, yeah, no, you still can't be investigated. So kick rocks. That's what he basically told Donald Trump. Now, among the issues Vance's office may be investigating as well as whether Trump broke laws where he made some hush money payments to the porn star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal, both of which him said they had sexual affairs with Trump. He denied that he did. Oh, but I think you was putting, your beefcake in them chicks. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised you was fucking them on the American flag, how disrespectful you are. Just like a regular porno would. Maybe it'd be Brazzers or fucking, Pornhub or whatever. I could see Trump doing some shit like that. Yeah, that motherfucker paid them hush money. Steve Cohen, no, not Steve Cohen. I will never disrespect Steve Cohen like that. Michael Cohen told everybody this on the stand a while back when they interviewed him during the House Judiciary Committee proceedings. He told everybody this. He told everybody that $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels was hush money, which is a campaign finance violation because it came from the Trump campaign. So if you pull the money out of the Trump campaign to pay off porn stars and settle legal troubles, that's a campaign finance violation. Because the money that you get for the campaign, any donation you get from a campaign, or any donation you get that's supposed to be to your campaign. Man, I missed speaking this morning, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to forgive me for that. Any donation that you're getting towards the campaign is supposed to go strictly to the campaign. You cannot use that money for your own personal troubles, to fund your own lifestyle, or none of that. That money is supposed to go strictly towards the campaign. And any money that is left from the campaign or whatever like that, those assets are supposed to get frozen. You cannot use that money to fund your lifestyle and to pay off porn stars or to settle legal troubles. That's not how that works. If you do that, you commit a campaign finance violation and you can face jail time for that. Now, federal prosecutors already implicated Trump in the scheme in the case against Cohen, who pleaded guilty in August 2018, and he got and the latter got a 3-year prison sentence. Now, the state and based legal action could further damage Trump's business empire, which endured, pandemic turbulence and faced brand value concerns. Because not like his, hotel businesses was flourishing anyway. So there you go. This would be where this last domino could bring down the entire Trump empire if there ever was one. Now, here comes the Mueller report. Now, Democrats mostly opted against using the special counsel's investigation in the impeachment efforts against Trump, but it does not mean the investigation into the Russian election interference in 2016 can't come roaring back if the president gets booted from the White House. Now, the 448-page Mueller report detailed evidence that Trump had repeatedly attempted to obstruct justice during the Russia investigation. Mueller's report did not conclude that Trump broke the law, nor did it exonerate him. But the special counsel said in his 2019 testimony before the House Judiciary Committee that Trump could be prosecuted for obstruction of justice once he's out of the White House. Now, Joe Biden has recently promised a hands-off approach to Justice Department decisions, which technically could still be pursued so long that the statute of limitations doesn't expire. In the case of a federal obstruction charge, an indictment would need to be brought within 5 years of the alleged crime, though Congress has the power to change the time limit. Now, any more recent criminal activity that investigators uncovered could also restart the clock. So, you mean to tell me, what's up, Prince Moore? Salute to Prince Moore in the building. You mean to tell me that in the light of this investigation, right, if they find new stuff, then that could restart the clock. So there could be 4 years and 362 days, and at the 11th hour, they find this they find some new shit on the 363rd day, 2 more days away from the statute of limitations running out, and that whole clock restarts over again. Boy, that fucking sucks. Now, the Trump campaign did not respond to insiders' questions about the legal challenges ahead for his president or his campaign team should he lose the election. Now, here come the accusations of campaign finance violations. Oh, and before I continue on to that, right? Business Insider, I need you to do better than this. Now your article say he lost the election. Your article just said in the title, now that he's lost the re-election, but yet if you go later on down the article, you says that the Trump campaign did not respond to insiders' questions about the possible legal challenges ahead for the president or his campaign team if he loses the election. So which one is it? Did he lose the election or not? I need you to do better than that. But just because they had that one gaffe does not discredit the validity of items that's placed in this article. So let's continue on. The most notable Trump campaign money drama of the moment is the doozy. It involves a complaint filed this summer by the nonpartisan Campaign Legal Center that alleges the Trump campaign disguised nearly $170 million worth of campaign spending by laundering the funds through companies led by Brad Pascal, his former campaign manager, or created by Trump campaign lawyers. But it's not the only one. Several other campaign-related money complaints are pending before federal investigators. They include accusation of illegal solicitation of a foreign national by Donald Trump Jr. and failing to publicly disclose campaign debt stemming from municipal police bills the Trump campaign refuses to pay. Now, campaign finance violation matters are typically handled as civil complaints and investigated by the partisan Federal Election Commission. Now, these penalties come in the form of fines, generally not paid by a candidate, but by the campaign's political committee. But the FEC lacks enough commissioners to enforce and regulate federal campaign finance laws and may not have a quorum for weeks or months. These cases often take years to resolve. Then there's questions of voter intimidation and voter suppression, right? Allegations of voter intimidation and suppression are often in federal matter, but state governments, depending on their laws, can also criminally pursue such matters. And Michigan is among the states that is investigating recent allegations of voter suppression. Potentially profiting off the presidency. Now, he's facing a federal lawsuit by the Attorney Generals of Maryland and the District of Columbia alleging that the president violated the Constitution's Emoluments Clause. And basically, the Emoluments Clause is the sitting president cannot profit directly or indirectly from anyone or anything. He can't even so much as get gifts. You cannot even have the president of Iran deliver you a Krispy Kreme donut. Okay? That is what we're talking about with the emoluments clause, right? If the president of Iran bought Donald Trump a 12 box of 12 Krispy Kreme donuts with the hot light on, he just violated the emoluments clause. That's right. That's how deep it is. Now, the suit accuses Trump of making money off foreign officials who stayed at the Trump International Hotel just a few blocks from the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. And I've been past that building on many occasions out there in D.C., and that thing is heavily guarded. Heavily guarded. Now, in October, the Supreme Court refused to hear a separate emoluments clause case brought by the members of Congress, effectively ending it in Trump's favor. A 2016 inauguration hangover. Now, District of Columbia Attorney General Carl Ransine back in January sued Trump inaugural committee and the Trump Organization. Now, he accused the president's namesake company of violating the nonprofit status by spending more than $1 million on a ballroom at the Trump International Hotel, even though it hardly used the room during the president's 2017 inauguration festivities. An IRS inquiry. For years, Trump said he wouldn't release his federal tax returns because he's under audit. But the truth is, it don't matter whether or not you're under audit, you still can have your tax returns scrutinized. Now, putting aside the fact that the audit doesn't preclude Trump from releasing his tax return, the president's unwillingness to open his finances to public scrutiny is an indication to many detractors that he might have cooked his personal books or engaged in some sort of illegal financial activity. Now, he's denied that he's illegally evaded taxes or otherwise committed any other tax crime. But the gangster Al Capone can attest criminal tax violations aren't trifles, and IRS officials suspect any kind of wrongdoing by Trump, and they can very well complicate his years as president. So, yeah, man, that's it. It's trouble in the city for Donald Trump. But you know what? I really don't care what they do to him, because he got this coming. He got this coming. And for all you Trump supporters out there, how y'all going to explain this? This dude is crooked this dude is one of the biggest crooks out here. How are you guys going to explain this? We got one troll that came here and talked about he was the best president ever. Really? Is he really though? Is he really though? I could make a case for him being the worst president ever. We got a pandemic, an economy in shambles, you know, all kinds of people out of work, right? But yet, he's supposed to be this best president ever, right? This dude got all kinds of lawsuits. He got an arrest warrant hanging over his head from the Iranians, right? But yeah, he's supposed to be the best president ever, right? If he's so-called the best president ever, why he about to get voted out? Why he about to get voted out? Why people are saying, you know what, fuck that. You're out of here. And all the bullshit that this guy has done, you guys won't even defend your own family the way y'all defend this dude. Shout out to Courtney Washington in the house today. What's up? Y'all won't even defend your own family members the way y'all defend this dude. But that's all right, though. Trump, time to pay up. That's right. It is time for you to pay your debts to society. Tell me what you guys think. This your boy. Scream at me. Hey!